Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my colleague. I don't know him well. He seems like a nice fellow, and I assume he understands, and because he says he does, the impacts that a residential school has had on Aboriginal people and continue to have to this day. I'm speaking in part out of the frustration of the people that I know that have been involved in the Aboriginal Healing Foundation's work in the northwest of British Columbia that I represent, the 6 programs that are in existence that have now lost their funding and their capacity to do the community-based work that has been seen as so crucial, which smacks of a certain hypocrisy of the government and a tragic sense of cynicism in saying that a report that was sitting on the minister's desk for months, a report that we now know says the Aboriginal Healing Foundation worked and worked well, was released the day after the budget, having been done by Indian Affairs itself, saying how wonderful this community-based system worked, a family-based system delivered by First Nations for First Nations and was helping the healing process. The cynicism to cut that program in a budget and then release a report the next day that says what a fantastic program this was smacks of a hypocrisy to the First Nations communities that I represent and all across this country. That the apology was meant to be followed up by action. That's what we asked the Prime Minister for when we all sat in this place and listened to the residential school apology. And First Nations people, despite many generations of broken promises, took the chance and said, we'll give this Prime Minister the time, that maybe he will follow up on this action and he will deliver and support Aboriginal healing in this country. And now we find out that all of these programs are being cut, programs that were working. And the government's saying, oh, we're very interested in this healing process and we want to support it. The way that government can support it is to continue the funding. And in the so-called, last point, Mr. Speaker, the so-called time of restraint, this government finds $250,000 to send to an asbestos lobby in Quebec to promote asbestos exports to other countries, while ripping it out of the walls of this place. That's $250,000 that could be much better spent on Aboriginal healing at a foundation